Alright, how's it going? I'm that ginger photographer. I've just recorded this whole video and forgot to actually record. So in this video I'm just going to be talking about 4 different lighting setups that I use at weddings for off-camera flash. These pictures are all taken with either the Canon 5D Mark IV or the Canon R6, which I'm still getting used to, but one of the pictures is taken on the Canon R6. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So for this first picture, as you can see, I've got a flash setup here. This is the Godox TT685. All these pictures are taken with that flash. And obviously that is lighting up everybody here. This is creating a nice rim light on all these people. It's hitting the sides of these faces here and here. So that's creating a lovely bit of light, lovely bit of backlight as well. And it's also pointing all the shadows this way, away from it. If you look at the other people's shadows, we've got shadows going this way as well. That's because I had another flash up here, precariously balanced on a beam as well. And that's pointing light this way and lighting everybody up on this side as well. So as you can see, the entire dance floor ends up really nicely lit. There's not a whole deal of light coming in, but there is a window behind me. So we've got a little bit of light coming in this way as well, although it's not a great deal and it's overpowered by the flashlights there. So the settings on the camera are mainly dialed in for the flashlights. And just going off the back of what I've said in many other videos, stay late, practice with your flash. Nobody's going to remember you taking these pictures. So if they don't work out, you don't have to deliver them. Just take these pictures for you. This was taken at about 10 to 11 o'clock at night. I'd been there since about 10 o'clock in the morning. So it was a long day, but I knew that this group were going to be a group of dancers. And as a rule of thumb, if people start getting into a circle, there's probably going to be a dance off at some point. So just practice with your lighting, take some pictures just for you, practice with your off-camera flash if you want to, and you might end up getting an absolute banger like this for your portfolio. So from the next picture, I just want to start by saying that these two are absolutely amazing and we're dancing all night. But about the lighting, as you can see, I've got a light set up here and that is actually on a stand. So I've got the stand quite high and I just wanted it to create some rim light. So as you can see, it's lighting up the back of them here really nicely. It's just creating that little bit of light. It's catching the back of everything there. And all I was doing at this point was I was stood here, obviously where the camera's being taken, camera in my right hand, flash in my left hand, and I was just pointing it at them. And as you can see, that flash that I'm holding is lighting up the front of them here. So that's just something that I've started recently doing as well. I'm just walking about with a wireless flash in my hand and I've got a flash set up behind them as well. That flash stayed there for most of the night on that stand, to be honest, but it pretty much stayed at that height and I either had a flash in my hand pointing it at people or I'd set the other flash up on the other side of the room. For post-processing, all I've really done is bring the shadows and the blacks down, and as you can see, it's darkened here nicely. You could still slightly see some people here dancing in the shadows, having a lovely time, so I've just darkened it to the point where you can't see them anymore because I just wanted the focus to be on this couple. So again, like I say, I've been doing this for 12 years and I've only just started walking about with an off-camera flash in my hand, so do that yourself. Have a practice with it, have a go. You might get some great shots, and if you don't, nobody will know. Massive favour to ask, if you're enjoying this video, could you please just hit that like button? It'll help this video get found and it helps me out that little bit more. Thank you so much. So for this next picture, what I'd done again is I'd set a light up on a stand again. Excuse the awful drawings. And this is the only light that I was using for this one. So as you can see, the light's pointing this way and it's just catching everybody just on the edge. It's not lighting up everybody wholly. There's not another light on the other side of the room, so this side's all dark and it's just creating that nice rim light on people because that's the kind of effect that I wanted there. So I just had this light set up. I just held the camera above everybody's heads. As you can see from my viewpoint, I'm higher than everybody and so is the flash, and I just kind of pointed it in that general direction and got everybody just lit up on one side, and it just creates that bit of an atmospheric dance floor. It creates a different look to what you're used to seeing where everybody's lit up really well. It's just a bit of atmosphere on the dance floor. For post-processing, what I've done in Lightroom is there was a person here smiling like this, lit up really well. It was a woman. That is actually a woman. And all I've done is I've rubbed her out with a brush and darkened the shadows and the blacks and the exposure to the point where you can't see her, purely because she was so lit up that it was distracting. You were just drawn straight at her and I didn't like that. And then the only other thing that I've done is I've lit up this saxophone. So I just got the brush, brushed it in and then lightened the shadows ever so slightly and brought that saxophone up because I thought if there was ever going to be a point of interest on any picture that should be lit more than anything else, it's got to be a saxophone. And this is the last picture that I want to talk about. As you can see, these guys are being lovely lit on one side and everything else kind of just drops off the shadow on this side. And this is purely using the available light. So all the light in this image is coming off these big light up letters. We've got this atmospheric dry ice coming in. So everything is just purely being lit by the available light in this picture. And I just wanted to talk about that and say you don't always have to think you have to use all the gear. You don't have to think you have to set up loads of lightings in every situation. You can just use what you've got at hand and still get beautiful pictures like this. Purely placing the couple in the middle of the frame with light on one side. Everyone else is kind of dropping off the shadow over here, while these guys on this side of the picture is being lit lovely. So just look at what you've got available. Don't think you always have to set up a Godox or an off-camera flash or get fancy with your settings. You can just use what you've got available and still get some beautiful pictures. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed this, if you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much. I love you. Bye. I'm still waving there even though you can't see me.